strong. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am who I choose to be.
I am a new creation because of my faith in Christ. My life has value because God created me. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. God has given me the abilities to obey His word. I ought to use those abilities to obey God and serve others, and to do the right thing even though it is not what I want.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is our second video, so I wanted to kind of use it as a follow-up to our first one and kind of dig in to some of the things that I mentioned in that first video, and show you how some of those things actually work in action and show you how one of our lessons goes. So that'll be really fun. But I realized that I didn't really give much of an introduction about myself or my family and kind of who we are. So I want to take a minute and just do that. I am a mom of 5, so I have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 13-year-old. My 13-year-old, he just turned 13 a few months ago. I cannot believe I have a teenager. I feel like that's so cliche and everyone says it, but really, truly, I feel so lucky to have him as my oldest, and for a teenager, he's like a dream. So he loves skateboarding and he's a huge help to our family. He's really smart, really funny, really handsome. He helps out at church and is really involved in youth group, and he works with the little kids. He actually helps out in my 5-year-old's Sunday school class, which is really cool. And we have my 9-year-old who also loves to skateboard. He is like our artist. He is also just as handsome, just as funny, just as smart as his older brother. They do a lot of stuff together, lots of skateboarding. They do art together. So it's been really cool to see them truly become best friends. Like being home, one of the biggest blessings is seeing them really get closer and closer. 9 times out of 10, if you're looking for Jackson around the house, he is somewhere doing something creative. So he is an amazing artist. I'll have to show you his art sometime. Then we have Gia. She's our 5-year-old. She was my first girl. She is so much fun. She has a lot of energy. She loves to talk. Like, boy, do girls love to talk. Am I right? She is as beautiful as can be and has big, crazy, curly hair, and it matches her personality. And she's so much fun. She's my dancer. She loves to dance. She loves to sing. So she's a lot of fun. She's super smart, super creative, but she is like just a spark. She's a little spark plug. So this is my Gigi girl, who I love so much. My beautiful curly haired girl. Do you want to show them your shirt? This is a really cute shirt, but she's actually really sweet and doesn't really ever want space. She always wants to be with all of us, right? So she's a lot of fun. Then we have Sethi. He is the firecracker of the bunch, the wild card, my wild man, like cute as cute can be. Beautiful, even though he's a boy, just as beautiful as his sister. But yeah, he definitely keeps us on our toes. He's a lot of fun. And then lastly, we have Jules. She's my 1-year-old and she is a doll. She's an angel baby sent from heaven, and she is like the easiest baby ever in the whole world. Then there's my husband, Seth, as he is my best friend, and he is like the best husband and father that I could ask for. So I'm super lucky. I couldn't do everything that we do without him, so I just have to give him a shout out. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. I'm also a teacher. I teach 10th grade English. This is my 5th year teaching. I went through college very slowly, part-time, in between babies, because my dream was to teach. And so I'm teaching virtually this year. and I'm home. So I'm kind of juggling my 10th grade students and then all of my kids at home. So I also just wanted to share really quick about where our name Rooted Homeschool came from. Colossians 2:7, and it says, "Let your roots grow down into him and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness." And that's like really our heart as a family. You know, like if you have deep roots, you're not getting like blown away when there's a storm. Every once in a while, something can knock a tree over, but usually those trees' roots keep it like grounded even when things get really tough. So that's really our heart as a family, to stay rooted and to help other families have that same feeling of like wanting to be rooted in God, wanting to grow closer to one another. So that's really our heart for starting this channel and wanting to reach out to all of you.
Mommy, can I come hug you?
So I wanted to follow up with this video to sort of go over a couple of things and dig a little bit deeper and to show how some things work. So I know I mentioned in my first video that I don't have all of those materials out every single day that I had out in that video. That's just like the first day of the unit. I put that stuff out to get the kids excited so that they can engage with all the different materials and see what we're going to be using throughout the unit and just give them a day to explore. I really pull things that I feel like are related to the focus for that lesson for that day. So it'll just be like a handful of books, maybe some, you know, of the solar system flashcards and things like that. But usually I just set those things up on the table, and I'm going to do that in a second so that you can see it. But usually I just set those things up on the table so that they come right over. That's how they sort of get started, as a way to settle in, get them interested in what we're going to be learning for that day. And they kind of like it because then we start reading about the lesson and there's already connections that they're making between what we're learning in the lesson and what they read on their own. I always make sure that there's more books than there are kids at the table, so that they're not like stuck with the book, you know, because there's no other books for them to explore. So there's always options for them to look through. Another thing that I wanted to mention this time around that I didn't mention last time, but maybe was obvious due to my setup, is that we don't use a schoolroom at all. So I don't have like a room in my house dedicated to like a classroom. And I think it's important to note that, like, although I think it's cool, like whatever works for any other family that homeschools, that's great, because every family is different. So I don't want to say there's like a right way or a better way or anything like that, but I just wanted to explain like what works for us. Personally, I really am not trying to replicate the classroom. So I'm not trying to create like school just here. And so although we're learning and although it's called homeschool, like sometimes I do see why people like to call it like home education or unschooling or something like that, because the purpose is not to replicate what happens in a classroom. I am a classroom teacher, so obviously like I'm not discrediting the value that takes place in a classroom. It's just different. So for me to teach 30 students and need to get 30 students all to the same place, it's a lot different than what happens when you have 3 kids in front of you and they're also all different ages. So I just wanted to mention that that's not something that we try to do, replicate the classroom. Of course, there are some similarities and there's some differences, but we actually do have a playroom where we keep a lot of materials and books and toys, and they play in there and they do art. There's like an art table and all of that fun stuff, but we don't do any of like our lessons or our learning time in there unless it's just like their free learning time or their free play time, you know, and they just choose to be in there, which obviously they do that quite a bit also. We have a big bookshelf in there, which maybe I'll show eventually, that houses most of our books. But we also have 2 cabinets on either side here that I reserve for certain books that we want to have like easy access to. I just wanted to show you guys how I keep things organized so there isn't like stuff all over my kitchen table all the time. So I do have a homeschool cart next to my kitchen table, which I can also show in another video, that keeps like some of our workbooks for some of the other little units that we do, which I also want to show another time because there's some really fun stuff in there. And just like our globe is on there and some materials that we want to have like quick, you know, be able to grab quickly when we are at the table, because we are doing school at the table sometimes. Sometimes we're on the floor, sometimes we're on the couch, and a lot of times like we will, especially when it's nice out, like grab and go somewhere. Like we've had times where we've been, you know, like in Thatcher Park. Like if you're from New York, you know Thatcher Park, like it's a huge cliff and you can see for miles and it's absolutely beautiful. And we've done things where we've gone up there, we've done our full lesson, we've had a picnic, we've done yoga, like we did school, you know, essentially on top of a mountain. And we'll go to like a local park, and sometimes we'll just be out on our back deck. So we don't like to limit ourselves to where we do school, which is also a lot of reason why I like Gather Round, because I can literally be like, all right guys, we're gonna go do school at the park. So, you know, grab your binder, grab something to write with. For Gia, she usually has a little pouch that has like a handful of crayons, scissors, and a glue stick and a pencil, and she's good to go for whatever she has to do in her pre-reader book. So I really like that as well. Like we can literally leave the house with 4 binders, something to write with, and her little pouch, and we can do our lessons essentially wherever we want. So I really like that too. So for our library books, this is where I'll keep our library books, and any books that are from our home library that I've pulled for the unit. So I like to keep all the books for the unit in one place. So like when we clean up for the day, they'll go in here so we have our kitchen table to do what we need to do at a kitchen table, right? So like all of these are the library books. I actually have a handful in my room as well that I haven't pulled out yet. But on the bottom and the top, just based on space, the space that I have, they're all the space books. In the middle, these were more like our Martin Luther King Day books, but we're gonna hold on to these just to continue looking at them because we didn't get through all of them. And then we'll add to this collection as we move into Black History Month, which I'll definitely do another video on as well. Lots of like amazing books in here. So I've already pulled the books for the day and have them on the table. So I wanna show you that. And then I'll also show you like glimpses of our lesson today, like how we stream to the TV and, you know, how we go through the lesson and what a lesson sort of looks like on any given day for us. These are the books that I had out for day 1 of the unit. Looking back at the table of contents from the space unit from Gather Round, you can see that lesson 1 is an introduction to astronomy. So what I did is I focused on having books about astronomers as a little bit of an intro for them. So I pulled Hidden Figures, both the picture book version and the chapter book. These 2 books, Bedtime Stories for Rebel Girls and Young, Gifted, and Black, just happened to have Mae Jemison and Valerie Thomas in them. So I just opened to those pages so that they could tell like those were the people I was highlighting in these books. The lesson also touches on Galileo, and so I put the Galileo book out here, just this Space Heroes book, Women in Space, and then I also have this book about Mae Jemison, so if they're interested from this short bio, they can read more about her here. And then also, I always have out a couple little things, like I mentioned in my last video, for my 2-year-old to be able to touch when he comes up here. And obviously he can look at these too, but those are more geared for him. And then I just wanted to show you, today we're doing lesson 2, so you can see like I don't plan super far in advance. Like I keep it pretty simple. That day or the night before, I'll look at like what's the topic for that day, and then I'll just like make a couple of notes here. So the books that I wanted to have out, I just made a note for myself because I did pull a lot of books for this unit. And then today we're focusing on galaxies and solar systems. So I made just a note for the books that I'll pull for today for them. Okay, so this is the setup of books that I have for lesson 2, which focuses on galaxies and solar systems. So I keep it pretty simple. I did pull out these two printables that I got, again, from Green Urban Creative because they connect with solar system and then galaxies. And I just stuck to like sort of reference guides. So we have this Smithsonian book about space, this visual encyclopedia, the kids' book of the night sky, and I showed the insides of most of these in my last video. This National Geographic book called Exploring the Solar System, this little pocket guide, Night Sky of North America, this one which I said was my favorite, The Night Sky, and then I kept this one out again from yesterday. So sometimes I do keep the books out, certain ones, or I'll bring them back in another lesson. So it's not like they only see the books one time, but you can just kind of see how I do that. And then again, I did keep the same things out for my little guy, but I do switch that stuff up here and there as well.
Oh, just about to drag that. You want to give me the other one?
This one?
No,
wait. Oh. That's the sun. Oh, wow! What puzzle together. Mom,
Yeah,
do you
honey.
know that Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system?
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool though.
Because most people would say the sun is, but they'd actually be wrong. Because the sun is not a planet, it's a star.
That's really interesting, Jack.
The sun is a...
yeah, Jupiter's the biggest.
Is that what it says in that book?
Mm-hmm.
Did you already know
No,
that?
I just already knew it.
Cool.
But
Wait, that's the sun compared to all the other ones?
Yeah, look at the Earth.
Gee.
Look at Mars and Mercury. What?
Hmm.
Mars is tiny.
Tiny little thing.
Mars.
The sun is huge.
The sun is huge. It's funny because the sun is a star. Those are all planets. So you'd feel like it would be the opposite. Uranus. Oh, there's Uranus and Neptune.
So while they're finishing up, I gave them like another minute. What we'll do next is we'll come in here. We'll usually just sit on the couch, or they can sit on the floor if they want, or over by the window. And what we'll do is we'll screencast the teacher's guide to our TV, so that we can jump in and out of the teacher's guide and people can read along, and also jump in and out of the app to watch videos on the big screen as well. So we just came in the living room. We are going to start with our Devo like we usually do. And so today's is faster than the speed of light. Okay, so guys, it's faster than the speed of light. And you can see there's like a big explosion kind of thing going on. And it says, God said, let there be light, and there was light. Genesis. And then Justice, can you start where it says God, I can't even begin?
God, I can't even begin to imagine how fast light really is. And to know that you hear my prayers even faster than that is amazing to me. Thank you, God, for rushing to listen to me.
And then can you give it to Jackie for the bottom? So I think it says be amazed, Jax.
Mm-hmm. God's universe is so big that it can't be measured in feet or inches or even miles. We have to use a bigger ruler, a light year. A light year is, you guessed it, how far light travels in a year, which is 5.88 trillion miles. Our own Milky Way galaxy is 100,000 light years wide. And that's just one galaxy out of the billions that our mighty God created.
What did you guys think of this one?
I kind of like it.
It's kind of funny because I was just thinking about this the other day. And it's crazy to think that, like, that's how big just one galaxy is.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
My dog.
there's, like it said, like, thousands and thousands of galaxies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
About
that's
how
crazy.
big, like, space must be.
Yeah, it's like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Anything you thought about it, Cheech?
I don't know, like,
Hmm?
I said I liked it.
So you can start coloring this if you want. So this says color the solar system. So we're reading about the solar system today and
What color is the solar
galaxies. All different colors. Do you want me to put the solar system sign right there so you can see it?
Just is the solar system this?
That's just one of the things in the solar system.
Alright guys, so you can open to your notebooking page, boys, for lesson 2.
Open to there.
Alright guys, so lesson 2, galaxies and solar systems. What do you guys need to put on your notebooking pages?
I have a what is a galaxy, and then I have to draw it. And what is a planetary system? Draw it, and then what defines a planet. And facts about an interesting planet. And draw it.
Cool.
I'm gonna do a
Jax, what about you,
rainbow
Lovey?
one. Mommy, I'm gonna do a rainbow one.
Did you look at your notebooking page?
Yep.
Good.
I have all the questions. I know all the questions. I have all the questions. What is a galaxy? What is a planetary system? Why is the Hubble Space Telescope important?
Okay, so we'll kind of be on the lookout for some of those answers. And then think about, like, if you notice videos that answer those questions, we can choose those.
Green.
Nice. You did a really nice job, because that's the land for Earth, so that part would be green. You did a good job.
And I'm gonna color this water.
Okay, so when you look up at the night sky, do you know what a galaxy is or what a star is made from?
Yes.
Do you? What is it made from?
Everything.
Oh,
Made from plasma.
plasma. Jax, do you have anything to add to that?
Of what a galaxy is made from?
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy is made from also decomposed parts of like old stars.
Cool. Do you know how many planets?
In the universe?
It just says, yeah, it just says what about how many planets there are.
I'm gonna say 6 or 8.
I think there's like 8. Or no. I think there's like 10 in our galaxy.
Okay, so
But in
Gia
the
said
whole
like 6 to
universe?
8, you think like
I
10.
have no
What?
idea.
And what?
How many planets in our solar system?
Just go ahead and look at his shirt.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Alright, today we are going to learn
No,
all
I feel
about...
like we couldn't.
What?
Be
We
nine,
wouldn't know
actually,
because
nine.
all of the moons for each planet.
But are they planets?
Yeah,
What color
moons
is
are
the moon?
planets,
What
so that's
color
why they're
is
called
this?
moons.
That's a moon, so that could be like any given color, like grays
it's
or
8.
yellows or...
What color?
So see the moon on Jackie's shirt is like a grayish, whitish, but sometimes they look more yellow. So Jackson, can you read the part that says our solar system?
Our solar system is composed of the sun and everything that is bound by gravity to it. When a set of objects orbit a star or a star system, it's called a planetary system. Alright, let's
So Gia, you're gonna cut out all the planets, and then you're gonna get to paste them in the picture of the galaxy. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all around the sun.
Mind blown.
Alright guys, so let's see what videos we have for lesson 2. So you guys have a whole page where you have to put down information about Galileo, right?
Yeah.
So you guys also have that Galileo book, and I want you to use that book. I don't want you to get all of your information from the video, but this will give you a little bit of a start.
Galileo is famous, you could even say infamous, for one of his big ideas in particular.
All right, guys, we're going to pick a video and then we'll go back to this. And we're almost done with the lesson, okay? So we did Galileo and his big ideas. So if you look up at the screen, Jax, we have some songs about the solar system. So we have Solar System 101 by National Geographic. We have What is the Milky Way?
Mom, you gotta do story about outer space.
So the second one?
Yeah.
All right.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's really good.
We still have this right here, Other Galaxies. Jax, can you read that? Other Galaxies.
Other galaxies can be viewed with telescopes and are even further away. The Hubble Space Telescope, a very powerful telescope in space, is famous for the beautiful pictures and glimpses of the universe it has provided us.
So today we're working on our sundial activity. You create a sundial. So we were coming outside to set it up and to kind of make predictions about what's going to happen and all of that stuff. So while we were getting set up, the kids took the opportunity to come jump on the trampoline, which I was totally fine with. And then I realized it was 11:45 and that the instruction says the ideal time to do it is noon, which actually worked out. I was like, great, we're really close to that. But we don't really have the time to waste because of the way we structured our day today. So I told them we need to come back inside. We're going to do the burrows and holes unit for Gia, which is her ready to read unit, because we don't do that every day. So I have to make sure I'm intentional about making sure we fit it in. And they asked if we could do it out on the trampoline. So it is a little bit cold, but I figured we'll go for it. Okay, so I can just show you guys really quick how I have my my teacher's guide binder set up. This is some stuff that when the boys do their lessons in personal finance, I have Gia do some money activities, so I'll talk about that in another video. We're doing burrows and holes really quick while we wait for noon, so that's the ideal time to set up for our sundial. So I just use these little page protectors to separate my lessons because I don't like to have multiple binders. I like to keep it simple and compact. So I have everything for their foundations in personal finance, and then I have everything for Gia's burrows and holes. And we're on lesson 17. And today we're going to learn about fennec foxes. So usually what I'll do is, even though the boys don't have like work related to doing this, is we'll still do it together because there's still a lot for them to learn and for us to talk about. And then Gia will have her pre-reader pages to do in her binder. Hi. And your binder pages, Gia, you'll do after our sundial experiment. All right?
Uh-huh. Can I just get a backflip? It'll take like 2
All right, go ahead, Jax. Get it out of your system. So Jackson's going to do a backflip.
I just want to get it.
All right, do you feel better now?
Yeah, I feel
okay.
I think everyone should get a little trick in.
Okay, quickly, yeah.
A little tricky.
Oh, right into me, please don't.
All right.
Wow, that was actually
All right, Justice's turn.
Okay, let's see if I can get it back first try after all these months.
Mommy, why do you pull me
Almost.
So see how it's 12 o'clock. So see, Gia, how Justice is making sure the shadow hits 12 o'clock. So that's how he knows his sundial is actually going to be able to work to tell the time. Does that make sense? All right. So Jackie, you're going to need to do the same thing. And Jackie chose to do Roman numerals to give himself a little bit of a challenge. So go ahead, Jax, do yours.
Okay. I don't see where the shadow lines up. So it'd be like right here.
So see how we lined it up? Yeah, and press your duct tape down. Is that the 12?
Yes.
No, that's the 11. So what do we need to do, you think, with the plate?
We need to move it over to here.
So right now it's 12 noon and the shadow is at 12 noon. What do you think is going to happen when we come back in an hour?
It's going to be 1.
It's going to be 1 o'clock, and what do you think it'll look like on here? What do you think is going to be there?
The thing.
The shadow? Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. Jackson, do you agree? How about you, Bub?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll come back in 1 hour and we'll see what happens.
Hopefully.
Can we play?
All right?
Can we play out?
So hopefully seeing how we sort of do our lessons together, starting with our reading and using the TV to cast the videos and just kind of move through the lesson and kind of have that gathered together learning style, helps encourage you in your homeschool, whether it's similar to how you homeschool and you got some new ideas, or it's very different and you need a change. Hopefully you find that helpful. Or even if you're not homeschooling or you're on the fence, these are things that you can start to implement into your family. And you'll see the benefits even if you're not homeschooling. So obviously I love homeschooling and I think it's great. But things like putting books out to get your kids interested in reading really is a great way to foster a love of reading. So that's what I'll be talking about in my next video, are the 3 main things that you can do to foster a love of reading and create a culture of reading in your family and in your home. And then obviously your homeschool, since homeschool is really just an extension of your home and your family. So hopefully you'll tune in with us next time to talk about how to get your kids to love reading and how to love reading yourself. However, I really want to hear from you guys about what you might want to see in our videos, what you might want us to talk about, questions that you want answered, ideas that you'd like to have us try. So if you have any of those ideas or any of those questions, please comment below. If you liked this video, click the like button, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and please consider sharing this to help us have more people join us on our journey. So hopefully we see you next time, and until then, have a great week. Bye guys.